Breaking tonight in just the last few minutes, we have learned that a man is in custody tonight for a string of fires at historically black churches in St. Landry Parish.
On April 10th, 21-year-old Holden Matthews was arrested in connection to a series of church burnings in Louisiana's St. Landry Parish. Between late March and early April, 3 historically black churches were burnt to the ground.
I don't know what this young man's motive was. I don't know what was in his heart, but I can say it cannot be justified or rationalized. These were evil acts.
State Fire Marshal Butch Browning described the arson case as highly unusual.
And I have to tell you, this investigation is probably one of the most unique arson investigations that I've been involved in my 33 years.
When discussing possible motives, the conversation turned to music.
Information that the investigators have uncovered is that Matthews had offered, through suggestions and connections, a relationship with a type of music called black metal and its association in history with church burnings.
People on social media felt that the discussion should have been about racism. Just a guess, but I feel like the pervasive white supremacist culture and the rise of white nationalism probably had more to do with it, one person tweeted at CNN. The 1980s called. They want their excuses back, tweeted another. But others pointed out that the genre in question, black metal, has connections to racism and white supremacy. So what is black metal, and how deep are these connections? Black metal is an extreme subgenre of heavy metal that first emerged in the 1980s in England and Northern Europe with bands like Venom, Bathory, and Merciful Fate. In the 1990s, a second wave of bands like Mayhem and Darkthrone helped develop the genre's lo-fi production style and misanthropic ethos. One of the most influential bands from the Norwegian black metal scene was Burzum, a one-man project ran by Varg Vikernes. In 1994, Vikernes was sentenced to prison for the murder of Mayhem guitarist Euronymous, as well as for the arson of 3 historic churches in Norway. Vikernes is also a known racist. In 2014, he was convicted in France of inciting racial hatred against Muslims and Jews in a series of posts written online. Today, he runs a YouTube channel that has over 250,000 subscribers, where he speaks against multiculturalism and in favor of defending Native Europe. Vikernes is not an isolated example. In 2000, the Southern Poverty Law Center warned that Europe's National Socialist black metal scene was producing millions of dollars in profit and bringing new recruits into the neo-Nazi movement. National Socialist black metal even has its own Wikipedia page. In 2018, the Norwegian black metal band Taake was forced to cancel its U.S. tour following accusations of being anti-Semitic and anti-Muslim. Still, the majority of black metal has nothing to do with racism. The Los Angeles-based band Deafheaven, originally from San Francisco, was even nominated for a Grammy this year, highlighting how mainstream an audience the genre can have. Agalloch, Panopticon, and Wolves in the Throne Room are just a few examples of black metal bands that have no associations with right-wing extremism. Metal bands and other subgenres are trying to break the stigma as well. The Baton Rouge-based sludge metal band Thou shared a link to a GoFundMe for the St. Landry Parish churches. "We don't support racists," the band wrote on Instagram.
Hate is not a Louisiana value, and violence has no place in our communities.
From the Peninsula Press, this is Connor Richards.